In the dusty backdrop of Iraq, we meet Chris Kyle, a Navy SEAL sniper stationed on a rooftop. His eyes are glued to his sniper rifle's scope, watching over a U.S. military convoy's path. Suddenly, a man appears on a rooftop, cell phone in hand. Is he reporting troop movements? Should Chris shoot him? It's a choice that would follow him, a decision that could potentially save lives or put his own freedom at risk. A sudden shift takes us back to Chris's childhood. We see a young Chris hunting with his father, taking down a deer with a single, skilled shot. Here, Chris learns the craft of hunting, respect for weapons, and moral life lessons of the people in this world. The sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. This lesson echoes throughout his life, shaping his belief in standing up against evil. Fast forward to an older Chris, who's now competing in rodeos with his younger brother. After a bitter experience with his girlfriend and witnessing the news of a terrorist attack on U.S. embassies, Chris feels a surge of anger and responsibility to protect his country. Chris visits a U.S. Navy office, drawn towards the SEAL program. Despite the recruiter's doubts about his age, Chris persists, determined to prove himself. He endures the grueling SEAL training process and makes it through, eventually leveraging his hunting background in sniper training. Despite the odds, his determination remains unshaken, even when faced with challenges due to his age. It is during this time of intense training and personal growth that Chris's personal life takes a surprising turn when he meets Taya at a bar. Their relationship blossoms amidst their conversations about duty, sacrifice, and commitment. On their wedding day, Chris and his fellow SEALs receive the news of their deployment to Iraq. It's a moment of mixed emotions, celebration, and apprehension. Now, in Iraq, Chris faces a heart-wrenching decision. Near a U.S. convoy, a woman dressed in all black appears with a little boy. Chris, watching through his sniper scope, sees her hand a grenade to a young boy as they walk toward the convoy. When the boy grabs hold of the grenade, he begins to advance the U.S. soldiers. However, Chris must protect the U.S. soldiers, so with a heavy heart, he pulls the trigger, killing the boy, and then the woman as she tries to continue the attack. As the harsh realities of war continue to unfold, Chris's reputation begins to grow as he provides overwatch for Marine units searching for Zarqawi, an Al-Qaeda leader. He earns the nickname The Legend for his sharpshooting skills, protecting his comrades from potential threats. Yet he also has to contend with a formidable enemy, Mustafa, an Al-Qaeda sniper with a reputation for making nearly impossible shots. Amidst this chaos, Chris tries to maintain a connection with his pregnant wife, Taya. Despite the physical and emotional distance, they share moments of laughter, worry, and longing over the phone. In one tense moment, Chris watches a young boy pick up a fallen grenade launcher. The crosshairs are trained on the child, but Chris hesitates, hoping the boy will drop the weapon. Finally, the boy runs away, leaving a visibly relieved Chris behind. His role as an Overwatch isn't enough for Chris. Compelled by a sense of duty and protection, he makes a crucial decision to join the Marines on the ground, going door to door in search of the Al-Qaeda leader Zarqawi. Through this change of strategy, he unexpectedly encounters a family who has refused to evacuate their home, and a man who can provide crucial intelligence on Zarqawi's second-in-command, the Butcher. The man agrees to provide the information, but only in exchange for $100,000. As the SEALs prepare to deliver the cash, Chris receives a phone call from Taya, who is back home in the throes of labor. The joyous news brings a moment of respite amidst the tension. In Iraq, Chris and the SEALs receive crucial information from their informant, leading them toward a building where the Butcher is believed to be hiding. As they approach, the risk of a trap becomes increasingly evident. The building is heavily fortified, and their nemesis, the enemy sniper Mustafa, is rumored to be close by. Aware of the lurking danger, Chris sets up in a vantage point, his trained eyes scanning the area for any sign of Mustafa. Their worst fears come to life when the trap is sprung, and insurgents swarm the area, turning the cityscape into a battleground. Amidst the ruins and dust, the SEALs hold their ground, responding to the gunfire with unyielding resolve. The situation escalates when a bullet from Mustafa's sniper rifle finds its mark. The team is pinned down, severely outnumbered, and outgunned. Amidst this chaos, Chris identifies the only course of action to shift the odds in their favor, eliminating Mustafa. Spotting a glint on a distant building, a reflection from Mustafa's scope, Chris readies himself. The target is an incredible 2,100 yards away, a range where variables like wind speed, bullet drop due to gravity, and the Coriolis effect become significant factors. However, his weapon, a Macmillan TAC 338A, is designed specifically for such extreme conditions. As Chris steadies his aim and takes into account these variables, the world seems to pause. He pulls the trigger, and the 338 Lapua Magnum bullet soars across the immense distance. The battlefield holds its breath, awaiting the outcome of this impossible shot. Moments later, Mustafa falls, hit by Chris's extraordinary shot. The balance shifts in favor of the SEALs, and Mustafa's reign of terror is finally at an end. This shot, one of the longest recorded sniper kills in history, reaffirms Chris's legendary status as a sniper. His triumph over Mustafa doesn't just eliminate a significant threat, but also underlines his role as a protector of his brothers in arms. The SEALs, having narrowly escaped a deadly situation, retreat to safer ground. Despite their losses, there's a grim satisfaction in their survival and a reinforced respect for the ever-present danger of war. Meanwhile, life back home carries on. Taya, his wife, gives birth to their baby girl. As she cradles their newborn, joy is tinged with worry for her husband, thousands of miles away in the line of fire. After the butcher incident and Chris Kyle's intense long-shot kill on Mustafa, he decides he's ready to return home, having fulfilled his duty. However now, back on American soil, the transition to civilian life is anything but smooth for Chris. Haunted by his experiences in Iraq, Chris grapples with readjusting to a peaceful existence and finds himself dealing with PTSD. The echoes of war still resonate within him. Chris finds himself torn between the tranquility of his domestic life and the lingering call of duty. His reputation, his acts of valor, and his experiences all cast a long shadow that never quite dissipates. However, in an effort to pursue meaning and begin to move on from the horrors of war, Chris decides to help a troubled veteran, so one day he takes him to a shooting range. A familiar environment Chris hopes can provide some peace as he mentors the ex-soldier. However, in a tragic twist of fate, this act of kindness marks the end of Chris's journey, when the man he sought to help shoots and kills him. Chris Kyle's devotion to his country, comrades, and family are all these facets that will be with him forever. As thousands gather to pay their respects when Chris Kyle's funeral convoy drives down the road, the impact of his life becomes evident. His story, a man who embodied duty, honor, love, and sacrifice, resonates long after his passing. The screen then fades to black. This is the end of the story of Chris Kyle, the most lethal sniper in American military history. A man who stood as a symbol of dedication and courage. A true American sniper, sheepdog, and hero. Subscribe to CinemaScoop so you never miss the latest movie explanations, reviews, and analyses. Thanks for watching.